Greetings from Christian News and Interviews. Well, that didn't take long. The homeless hunter now has a name to go with that face. And yes, his face has been all over DC and New York. His name is Gerald Brevard. Just another bum out here wreaking havoc on society. I reported about a month and a half or maybe 2 months ago on a similar type of a situation in Florida where a man, if you want to call him that, was hunting homeless people, shooting and killing homeless people. He was a real estate agent. I'll pull up his information and post it, link it to this one. But what is the deal with these people going after homeless people who are out here bothering nobody and trying to live their lives? I don't get it. But anyway, I am thrilled that Gerald Brevard has been taken into custody. Let's check this out. Okay, crushed 30-year-old's arrest over homeless shootings stuns his relatives. Okay. So the suspected serial shooter, in at least 2 cases, killer of unhoused people, Gerald Brevard the third. I read somewhere else that he's the second, but here it's saying he's the third. Doesn't matter. He's bringing shame onto his family. Is in custody just hours after his father said they had a normal conversation. I wonder if his father's the one who turned him in. I wonder if someone in his family turned him in, because there's no way you see this face and not know this your family member. Police in Washington, D.C. have arrested a man with a history of mental illness. Now, let me pause and say that he's not going to use that. I really hope that no judge falls for that. He had enough sense to pull himself together enough to travel multiple times between Washington, D.C. and New York. That's about a 4.5-hour drive. He had enough sense to hold on to his gun. He had enough sense to peek around and stalk and check to see if anyone's watching. Too stupid to know the cameras are all over the United States of America. But he had enough sense to peek and see whether or not anybody was watching. And before he pulled out the gun and shot, he had enough sense to run and hide. Okay, so I would like to know what mental illness means in this case, because he certainly did use a lot of common sense, except he seemed to have forgotten that there are cameras all over the place in this country. I'll proceed. Arrested a man with a history of mental illness who they suspect carried out brutal attacks on several homeless men in D.C. and New York, leaving his family members aghast at what they suggested was a stunning turn towards murderous violence. A senior law enforcement official identified the suspected serial shooter as Gerald Brevard III to the Daily Beast. The official said that the 30-year-old was unarmed when he was arrested in Northeast Washington shortly after police became aware of his name. Another law enforcement official told the Daily Beast that police in both cities had received tips about Brevard, prompting officers and ATF agents to stake him out and eventually take him into custody. Good for them. I get on the police when they do something wrong, but when they do something right, I have to give them applause. So I'm going to clap again. That's for the police for taking down this monster. Hours before Brevard's arrest, around 5:00 p.m. on Monday, an Instagram account appearing to belong to him posted a photo with the caption, quote, "Feeling devilish, feeling godly." The prior post has Brevard, a Washington, D.C. resident, tagged at a Manhattan event space. Okay, let me come down here to his father's area and see what his father had to say. His father, Gerald Brevard Jr., told the Daily Beast on Tuesday that he was crushed to hear the news about his son's arrest. He said they spoke on Monday and Brevard did not say anything out of the ordinary. Now, hold up. Hold all the way up. What do you mean you spoke to him on Monday? Today is Tuesday. Are you telling me, sir, that you didn't see your son's pictures posted all over the news and all over the internet? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Covering for his son. I cannot imagine a scenario in which he did not at least hear someone say, "Hey, wait a minute, I saw your son posted all over the news." Listen to this father. It was a normal conversation. Oh, really? Your son out here killing people and you having a normal conversation? It was a normal conversation, the father who lives in Las Vegas said, but he was dealing with mental illness for a long time. He has been in and out of mental hospitals. The father added that his son had never made disparaging comments about the homeless community. Big freaking deal. What does that have to do with anything? And now the family was, quote unquote, shocked, feeling so many different emotions as they tried to understand what was going through the 30-year-old's mind in the last few weeks. This has all come as a surprise. I never thought he would be violent, Brevard Jr. added. He was always mild-mannered. In a separate statement issued to reporters, Brevard Jr. also stressed that despite many encounters with the justice system, his son's mental illness was never really addressed, which he said showed how the system had failed regarding the treatment of so many. Now, before I agree with this man on the system failing, I need to get some more information on Brevard Jr. Were you an absentee father or were you a present father? How much time did you spend with your son as he was growing up? So I need some more information on him before I can agree with him that the quote unquote system failed his son. I first need to know whether or not Papa failed the son. This is the son being taken down. Look in the left-hand corner. Look how quickly he went to the ground. He didn't want to, it's interesting that he didn't want to get shot. He's out here killing people, but he didn't want to die. That's a lot of nerve. Okay, I'm about to close out. This is another picture of this horrible human being who spent so much time going back and forth between DC and New York, staking out and stalking, terrorizing people who truly do have a mental illness. Many homeless people, not all of them, but many homeless people have a true mental illness. And that's who this guy pointed his gun at. That's who he decided to pick on, target, and ultimately kill. I'm going to follow this case. Stay tuned. I just realized something, guys. I just realized that I did not share the screen, so you didn't see any of the pictures. Okay, let me share it now. This is the video I wanted you to see. It's just a few seconds long. Look in the left-hand corner. That's him going down. See, he didn't want to die, but yet he's out here killing other people's children. He decided he wanted to live. Is that nerve? And then the other picture, you didn't miss much. The other picture I wanted you to see is this one where he had just been taken down and now he has handcuffs on him and he's being taken in. So that's all you really missed. There are no other pictures. Okay. Thank you all for tuning in. It's time for me to tune out. And I will keep you posted.